Good morning, dear hearts. We are on lesson 44, and please subscribe. We're continuing with our God is lessons. Today's is God is the light in which I see. We could simply say God is the light. That would be a totally complete and true statement, and that would be a place for us to go with this lesson as well. But we're expanding it to the light source that we need in order for us to be able to see. Light is necessary in order for us to see. We cannot see in darkness. That's true in this world or in eternity. There must be a light source. In this world, it's a switch I flip when I come into the room. Turn on the lamp, okay? That is an artificial light. I use it for seeing, but just as we have had that line that I've repeated many times because it's wonderful, the thoughts you think, that would be the things I think I see. I don't really see from that aspect of my mind because that's in this world, and all I'm seeing are images. You know, this world is filled with the images that I have made, and that is how I'm continuing to see images. But if I truly want to see, I must go to the true light source, and that is God. The lesson says creation and darkness cannot coexist. So God and the ego cannot coexist. The ego is the darkness. But light and life must go together, being different aspects of creation. We are different aspects of creation, and we contain both life and light. And everything that God has created has life and has the light within. In order to see from this aspect, we must recognize that the light is within and not without. The light source we want to have and to use, not just for seeing, but yes, for vision, comes from within us, and it is from God. Much of this lesson is really speaking about the practicing, because the practicing is a little bit different. And it says a couple of times in this that, this type of practicing would be very difficult for the undisciplined mind. But it also says that, our minds are not completely untrained at this point, which we've mentioned a bit now. So we are able to attempt this type of practice. And although, it doesn't say it's meditation, indeed it is. So it says it's particularly difficult for the undisciplined mind for this type of practice, and this represents a major goal of mind training. It requires precisely what the untrained mind lacks, yet this training must be accomplished if you are to see. We must learn to bring our minds into a space of quiet so that we indeed can see and can hear as well, that we want to be able to hear the voice for God, which will only happen when we get into our quiet space. It says that doing these exercises properly, the meditation, this is the release from hell. This is the release from the ego mind, which indeed is our hell. As we go deeper and deeper within the truth of who we are, go deeper into the light that God has placed within each and every one of us, then this is more threatening to the ego, because we are moving away gently and constantly and consistently. We're moving away from the ego. So what does that mean if we're moving away from the ego? We're moving towards the light. So the lesson goes on to say, if you can stand aside from the ego by ever so little, you will have no difficulty in recognizing that its opposition and its fears are meaningless. My meaningless thoughts have shown me a meaningless world, but I am moving now past that meaninglessness. I'm moving to the truth. I'm moving to the light, that God is the light in which I can see truly. So for the practicing, we close our eyes, we get quiet, and then it says, try to sink into your mind, letting go of every kind of interference and intrusion. Now, if something comes up while we're trying to do that, notice it and let it go. We don't want to give it any more attention than it necessary, because what we share, we strengthen. Where are we going with this quietness? Where are we going as we sink into this quiet mind? We are moving towards salvation. We are moving towards our freedom. There's a line in the lesson that says, salvation is your happiest accomplishment. It is also the only one that has any meaning, because it's the only one that has any real use to you at all. Our freedom, our salvation. But it's not just for me, it is for everyone. Each time we go into this space of quietness, each time we move away from the ego, ever so little bit at a time, we are moving towards salvation. We are moving towards our freedom, away from the egoic mind that has imprisoned us, that we have been attached to. So the deeper we go, the less attachment that the ego has on us. That is where our practicing is today. And then it says towards the end, if you are doing the exercises correctly, you should experience some sense of relaxation and even a little feeling that you are approaching, if not actually entering, the light. God is the light in which I see, and God is the light in which I move to, so that indeed I can see, I can have vision, and I can find salvation in that light. That's it for today. I hope it helped. Please like, please share, please subscribe, please pray. We're praying for the freedom of everyone, not just some, everyone. Let us all do what we can to minimize the ego in everyone, and we do that by starting with us. Namaste.